Alright, hey there everyone, RobsidianX here, and welcome to the stream as we get ready to partake in tonight's festivities. Well, okay, not exactly festivities, but, you know, the usual romp of just playing through games and all that, so... Otherwise, it's going to be a very easy night, because honestly, we're not going to be at this game for too long. It's not going to take too long at all to get through it, but regardless, it's still somewhat of a blast, at least to me, all things considered, but hopefully you all are having a pretty good night so far. I'll admit, day started out pretty okay. Yeah, some things happened when I tried streaming earlier, so, we're doing a bit of a, retake, so to speak. So, hopefully nothing too crazy happens. I hope, but you know what? Knowing me, whenever I say something like that, something happens, and I just end up eating my own words. So, yeah, it is what it is. It is what it is. But regardless, hopefully you all are having a pretty good night so far, and I'm glad to have you here with me. Though, granted, this is not usually a day I start streaming so early, but I was off of work today since, I've kind of got some other things coming up that I can't really start to take care of until tomorrow, so it is what it is. So we're going to try and make use out of what time we've got. So I figured, what the hell, might as well give it a shot. But anyway, yeah, tonight we are jumping into the first entry of the Sonic the Hedgehog 4 duology, with that being Sonic the Hedgehog 4 Episode 1. Granted, not many people think too highly about Sonic 4 in general, for a myriad of reasons, but you know what? I don't care. To me, it's Sonic 4, and that's all that matters. Sure, we've had other games that have been suited for that name, but hey, it's got the name. It basically owns that copyright. There's no changing that, no matter how much you want to insist that that's not the case. Because, like, there was just so much discourse on this game being canon or not, but hey, you know what? It's listed in the official timeline, so it's canon. Nothing you can really do about that. It's here to stay. But still, regardless of its faults and everything, I still enjoy it. And again, that's my mantra. If I play through a game and I enjoy it, even if it's got issues and all that, I don't really care. If I'm having a good time, I'm having a good time. And with this duology, that is no exception, so... Either way, though, it is not going to take too long to get through this game, because it's really on par with, I'd say about the length of both Sonic 1 and Sonic 2, and Sonic CD, of course, yeah, so... Generally, they take about maybe an hour, hour and a half, depending on what all you do. And for both episodes, yeah, it's generally along that line. Unfortunately, it is just a duology. It was meant to be a trilogy, but, yeah, unfortunately, we never got episode 3. So, who knows? I mean, maybe at some point or another we can somehow get closure to how this saga was meant to end via other means. I mean, crazier things have happened. You never know. You never know. But regardless, we're going to have some fun tonight as we speed on through this game. And honestly, again, as long as I'm having fun, to me, that's all that matters. But again, I don't foresee this being too very long of a strain, especially considering I've got to get up early tomorrow for a doctor's appointment, and I need to get my car looked at and assess what work needs to be done on that, because it's starting to give me issues again. Really missing my old car, I really am. I did not have so many problems with that one as I am with this one, so... And the thing is, I'm getting ready to make the last couple of payments for the work that I did the middle of last year to get the car fixed up for this same issue, so... yeah, pile that on with what I am going to be paying for taxes and all that, and also considering I still have my hospital and ER bill from earlier this year when I was laid up for a good 3.5 to 4 days. Yeah, I really went into the new year thinking things were going to be different. It's just been an absolute damn train wreck. Yeah, we're going to game in order to wash the pain away and just get me in a good little headspace to ignore all that adult work that needs to be done, at least for a little while. And of course, we're also going to be doing a few things later on this weekend, so we do have that to look forward to, but this is the here and now. Let's go ahead and focus on what we have to do here. So, luckily, we've already got everything all set up and ready to go. Alright, so for the story of the first entry in this duology, some time has passed since the end of Sonic the Hedgehog 3 and Knuckles, although we've had a few other adventures that have taken place between Sonic 3 and Knuckles and Sonic 4 since then. Originally, Sonic 4 picked up sometime, if not directly after the events of Sonic 3 and Knuckles, but things have changed a bit, so we are retroactively modifying the timeline a bit in order to easily fit things in here. But regardless, Sonic has struck out on his own for a little bit of self-journeying, and unfortunately for him, this means he ends up coming face to face with Dr. Eggman once again, and even though it has been some time, he is still bitter about the loss of the Death Egg, so he goes back to the drawing board, brings back some of his oldest creations, and adds a new spin on them to try and put an end to Sonic once and for all. But let's be honest here, nothing is stopping this speedy blue hedgehog. And basically, that is the overall plot of the first episode. Short, sweet, and to the point. Almost as simple as Sonic 1 pretty much, which, honestly, the entire game is meant to be a bit of a callback to both Sonic 1 and Sonic 2 in a bit, which people have hampered on that a bit as well, saying it's just a rehash of old concepts, but honestly, at the time, we were approaching the 20th anniversary, so it kind of makes sense, and plus also given the original intention for how this game was originally developed, yeah, we'll get into that momentarily, at least not until the very end of the stream, but regardless though, that is the plot. Again, short, sweet, to the point, and sometimes being short and simple is the best route to go. But anyway, we've got things all set up and ready to go. So without further ado, let's go ahead and start this journey off. And again, this is not going to be a very long game. As I've mentioned, maybe an hour, hour and a half tops, assuming we don't have any screw-ups. But we shall see. You never know. I have said things, and stuff can easily get derailed just like that. So, yeah, but hey, we'll see. We'll see. But anyway, it's time for Sonic the Hedgehog 4 Episode 1. Alright, so let's go ahead and start things up. I am not going to load my cloud save because I do not want to delete my save data. I put a lot of work into that thing, so we're just going to go ahead and have it treated as if we didn't have a spot to save the data at all. Or in an old school case, as if you didn't have a memory card. That works as well. But let's go ahead and dive right in, shall we? And we are starting things off here in Splash Hill Zone. So Sonic still has his usual setup. He can still do the good old spin dash, the rolling spin, and the spin jump. But as you saw, he also has access to the homing attack. So yeah, he's got that added to his repertoire now. And we still have the usual power-ups and all that. The 10 ring monitors, extra lives, shields, speed shoes, invincibility. It's all here. And as for the Badix we have here, we have Bubbles, Buzzer, Chopper, Motobug, and Neutron. Unfortunately, no crab meat, but it's alright. The one thing you do need to keep in mind when it comes to episode 1 that's only present here, whenever Sonic comes off of a slope, if he's in a ball, he will uncurl. That may leave him open a little bit, but as long as you know what you're doing, you'll be fine. And of course, we do have the old star posts, which will be handy. Oh, no, you don't. Which will be handy if we end up losing a life and all that, so... Please tell me I still had enough time. No I didn't. Damn it! Okay, well... So yeah, if we had 50 rings on hand at the end of Acts 1, 2, and 3 of luckily all the zones, there would be a giant ring here that we would use to jump into the special stage, but as you saw, I flubbed up right there at the end. And just as I was talking about the whole uncurling issue too. But you know what? That's what I get. That is what I get. It's alright, though. We still have plenty of chances. It's a bit disheartening, but we still have time. Alright. There we go. And if there's one thing I can definitely give episode 1 for, it's that all the acts have their own specific little designs and all that. Act 1 was more of a usual back to basics thing, and here in Act 2, we especially have the vine swinging gimmick. So yeah, you know what, sometimes a little variety is nice. Alright, careful. Oh, you've got to be kidding me! No, we are going to go back. We're going to go back a bit. I am not getting screwed over like that. Hell no. Back it up a bit. There we go. Like, no, we are not about to have a repeat. Screw that. Oh, I didn't know that was there before. There we go. Alright, good. Now we're set. Okay. Avoided a repeat there. Had to backtrack a bit, but you know what? That's alright. But as for the special stage, yeah, we're back to the rotating maze special stage. So we still have the usual set pieces from here as well. We have the bumpers that can easily just yeet us all around and just give us a bit of a headache. We have gold pits that we can fall into that'll toss us out empty-handed, so that's one way we can get tossed out of this special stage. But we're also on a bit of a timer. But the main gimmick is we need to collect as many rings as we can because we need them in order to open up these numerous gates. And unlike in Sonic 1, where you were at the special stage's mercy, you actually control the maze itself, which honestly, it's a nice little take on things, and ironically was actually kind of how the original Sonic 1 special stages were meant to be designed, so reusing an old concept there. You gotta love it sometimes. But it sucks that I'm not going to be able to get all the emeralds as early as I want to, though. It really sucks. But you know what? That's what I get for opening my big mouth. And once again, here's the whole gimmick thing in action. It's a nice little sunset, and we have a whole bunch of zip lines to take advantage of. I'm sorry, I'm still a little bit pissed about screwing up right at the end of Act 1. I really am. But granted, it was my fault. I was not paying attention. I was yapping to you all, and I was being informative. So that's what I get. That is what I get. Oh, poor Bubbles. You are nothing without your spikes. You exist solely to be nothing but homing attack fodder, but don't worry though, they do get their spikes back later on down the road. Careful. And sometimes they're just hovering over bottomless pits, so that's also fun. Alright. Well, we did good there at least. Alright. Let's get us another Chaos Emerald. Yeah, enjoy those big elements while you can, because they're only meant to get you used to how the rotating maze special stage works now. Because they are going to get shorter and shorter the further we get in. So you've really got to be at the top of your game. Alright. It's good to see the little barriers back again as well. And of course, since I didn't say the obvious before, we can increase our time limit by grabbing those time bubbles, so also keep that in mind. Whenever you see them, go for them. You'll be glad you did. Okay, so I want to position Sonic here, and then rotate like so. There we go. Alright, good. 2 down, 5 to go. It would be 3, but I screwed up earlier. But hey, you know what? Now boss encounters have their own separate act, so let's go ahead and deal with Eggman, shall we? And he's brought back the Egg Wrecker. So, yeah, we know this song and dance. Just go ahead and bop him a good couple of times. Nothing we can't handle. But once you deal enough damage, he enters his desperation mode, in which case, he'll just start swinging the wrecking ball all over the place. But hey, we got this. We got this. Again, nothing we weren't too used to. Alright, and with that, we have destroyed our first prison capsule of the game. But we're not going to jump straight to the next zone just yet. Because we're at least going to go ahead and get a look at the world map. So now we can freely access the special stage if we want to of course replay the ones we've already done. And you can basically choose wherever you want to go from here on out. But honestly, I'm just going to keep going in the usual path that the game would have you take if you didn't come into the world map at all. Only seems right. So it's time for the crippling gambling addiction to return. Welcome to Casino Street Zone. And as for the bandits here, we have Bubbles, Batbot, and Crawl. So let's have a little bit of fun, shall we? Alright. There we go. Take care of the Batbot. Come on, just keep going. There we go. Alright. I'm going to go ahead and get these out of the way real quick. And let's go gambling. Okay, not too bad, but hey, you know me though. I want a jackpot. I should have just shut the hell up. No, it's okay though. I am not leaving until I get what I want. I've got time to burn, and damn it, that's what I'm gonna do. Oh wow, really? Way to add insult to injury. Oh. That's what I'm talking about. I'll take it. Okay, let's keep moving on. Okay, well, hey, at least we didn't gamble for a good 3 minutes at least. Oh, no, you don't. There we go. Alright, good. I thought I was gonna undershoot it there for a second. Luckily, that was not the case. And of course, stupid me, we do get an extra life for whenever we get a 10,000 points at the end of an act. But I'm honestly not even gonna need them because yeah, I'm gonna have a lot of lives built up. Yeah, here's what I mean about the time limit getting shorter and shorter. Now it really gets you panicking a bit. Let me just come down to here and grab this. Okay, we need a few more rings. There we go. Careful. Oh, I do want that. I do want that. Hold it. There we go. Get us a little bit more time. Oh, come on. And yeah, you can jump well in here, but I would not advise it. It can make Sonic feel somewhat unruly in here. And when you need to be precise, yeah, unruly is not what you want. You want absolute, complete control. Alright, on to Act 2. So let's just go ahead and get rid of these casino chips. And we go from slots to cards. So match any 3 of either Sonic or the 10 rings and get extra lives and, of course, more rings. Though, get 3 Eggmans and you don't get anything. But yeah, if you're hurting for lives for whatever reason, this act is a good place to stock up on them. Alright. There we go. Alright, we'll go this way. At least those barrels aren't the devious ones as we saw back in Casino Night Zone. Because we all hate those. Oh, wait, hold it. Come on, crash into me. There we go. I was not going to risk losing all these rings. There we go. Alright, almost to the end. Oh, that's not good. There we go. That was too close for comfort. Because the majority of the acts do have bottomless pits layered out throughout them, so yeah, that's always fun. Alright. At least we made it through there, that was the good thing. So let's see if we can't get another Chaos Emerald, shall we? Okay, this one. So we got a little bit more leeway on our time, so that's the good thing. Come on. Nope. Let me in there. Thank you. There we go. Just get Sonic positioned just right. If I can just make it through here. There we go. Okay, we gotta be careful here. We do not want to fall into a gold pit. That would just suck. Ooh. Talk about dicey. Okay, yeah, you know what? That's good enough. That's good enough. I don't need that other time bubble. I am good without it because we're already at the Emerald Chamber, so... Careful. There we go. Alright. 4 Chaos Emeralds down, 3 to go. We're getting there. We're getting there. Alright, and now that we leave the cards behind, it's time for some cannon fun. Alright, careful. Just make sure to line the cannon up just right with the arrows and you'll be fine. Oh, dear. Nope. Come on. There we go. Alright, we'll take the high route. Because as always, the high route is always the best route. Bow now. There we go. Oh, wait, shoot. Let's come on up to here, get these rings. Alright. Get in there. Okay, so I think I want to shoot from here. There we go. Got the shield to go ahead and protect my rings, and we're on the optional route. We'll just go ahead and blast our way up to here. All right, almost done. Ah, well, damn. There we go. All right. Okay, now I gotta be careful here. Okay, good. Bottomless pit right below us. And we made it. All right, at least we're making progress. At least we're making progress. Some progress is better than no progress at all. All right, time for another Chaos Emerald. Careful. Ah, damn, I missed that one. Nope, back it up, back it up, back it up, back it up. Oh, no, 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 no. I'm gonna need that. I need that. I need that. I'm already hampered for time as it is, so... Alright. Ooh, boy. And there we go. Alright, 5 down, 2 to go. So, I'm not too worried about one of the next acts, but another one, yeah, I kind of am. But anyway, time to deal with Eggman again, and this time he's brought back the Egg Claw, so this time he can grab us, and if he does, he'll drop us right in the middle and right onto a bed of spikes. So yeah, that's fun. And he still drops those mines. But for his desperation mode, he'll start to electrically charge the Egg Claw, close the cockpit, and then spin around like he's a damn Beyblade. And there we go. And so one thing I should note, so the boss music before he enters his desperation mode, that's actually an unused track from Sonic 3D Blast that was meant to be one of the boss themes. So yeah, something got reused here. But hey, another prison capsule down, and we are halfway through the game. I'll take that. Hopefully the rest goes off without a hitch. I hope. But you've seen how things have been in some instances. I say something, and next thing I know, I'm getting screwed over hard. Yeah, but it's alright. I'm used to it. I am used to karma biting me right in the ass. Alright, so we leave the casino slots, and now it's time to go trekking through ruins Indiana Hedgehog style. Off to the next zone. Welcome to Lost Labyrinth Zone, and as for the bandits we have here, we have Bubbles, Jaws, Borobot, and Orbinaut. The green and the red varieties. But this is also where we start getting the red variety of Bubbles. So those will actually have spikes on them. So we can't use our homing attack all willy-nilly. Careful. There we go. And luckily, we don't have to worry about water all that much. Water won't be a threat until Act 3, so... It's more just getting through the traps. Damn it, I wanted to take the upper route. Oh well, that's what I get. At least I get a shield from my trouble. Careful. There we go. Alright, now we gotta balance on the stone boulder here. Alright, careful. Get you out of the way. There we go. And we made it. But we're just going to wait here, though. We don't want to get crushed. Now we can proceed. Alright, take the upper route. There we go. And now I got bubbles lining these stone boulder paths, so that's fun. And now we got a bottomless pit below us, so maintain your balance. Careful. Almost there. There we go. All right. We got through that without an issue. Now let's go for another Chaos Emerald. This would be the last one, but again, my earlier script at the start of the stream really kind of put a damper on those plans. So yeah, the 6th special stage is definitely more labyrinth-like. I mean, you know what? In hindsight now, I guess it is kind of somewhat appropriate. I hope I know which way I'm going. Oh, wait. Okay, yeah, I know where I'm heading. I know where I'm heading. Kind of lost track there for a second. Break through the barriers and get the time bubbles. Okay, yeah, let's go this way. I don't think it's the most optional route, but I'm doing what I can. Careful. All right, we're at the halfway point, so we're making good progress. Ah, shoot. Nope. Hold it. There we go. There we go. Alright, I could not have timed that more perfectly. Now let's just grab this for good measure. And there we go. Alright. 6 Chaos Emeralds down. 1 more to go, and then we'll have the complete set. So let's just hope we can hold on to our rings as much as we can in the next act. And so yeah, we have this act's gimmick. So Sonic is holding a torch throughout the entire act, so that means we also have the torches on the walls that we need to light in order to light our path, or in some cases, open up pathways. Though to be fair, if I was able to transform into Supersonic right now, he would completely illuminate the act, so... But, alright, I relent. I relent. I'll do things the old-fashioned way. And of course, we also got to use the torch to set fire to the dynamite in order to allow us to make progress, because we do have giant blocks that are blocking our way, so we gotta blow them up. I just don't want to lose my rings in the process. And we get some minecart fun. But keep this minecart in mind. We're going to be coming back to this later. Careful. There we go. Ah, damn it. I had a feeling. I had a damn feeling. It's alright, though. We still got plenty of time. We still got time. That's what I was wanting. Careful. Alright, set fire to that. Alright. Yeah, you do want to go ahead and stay far back, because I do believe I want to say maybe the debris can hit you. I'm honestly not entirely sure, but I wouldn't risk it. Okay, hold on a second. Alright, I see what I gotta do. Oh, wow, really? Careful. Okay, hold on. There we go. Alright, I'll take that. No, wait, hold it. There we go. Yeah, I do want to say maybe the debris can hit you, so honestly, I wouldn't risk it. Just stay as far away as possible as you can. Alright, let's blow that up. But yeah, with all this dynamite here, it's obviously clear that Eggman's looking for something. But as for what that is, we are just gonna have to wait. Oh, that was close. I've got all these rings and I don't want to lose them. There we go. Almost done. Just a little bit more. Oh, shoot. Okay. I thought I was dead for a second there. Oh, no, you don't. There we go. I want to go for that last Chaos Emerald, damn it. Though I will say, for this last special stage, you need to be patient. Alright, careful. We need to grab as many rings as we can. Don't worry about time all that much. You just need to focus on getting rings. Because this last special stage is actually a bit of a, I want to say a bit of a obstacle course of some of the past special stages, so as you saw, that first quadrant that I was in was reminiscent of how the first special stage ended. But again, as long as you grab as many rings as you can, you don't need to traverse through all of them. Maybe a little bit of the last one, but you'll be fine. Just be careful and don't fall into any gold pits. And yeah, we got Doomy here. Finally. Alright, just break through the barriers. Yeah, don't worry about the time bubbles. They'll come naturally. Okay, careful. Alright, now I need to repeat the process over to this side. Yeah, I am not going all that way. Screw that. Oh, let me in, let me in. Let me give me that Chaos Emerald. Thank you. Haha. All right, and with that, we now have all 7 Chaos Emeralds. So you know what that means. Now we can transform into Supersonic. Which honestly, back when this first came out, was a big thing because Supersonic had been playable in a 2D game since the Genesis days. And on top of that, he was playable for the first time in a 3D game because Sonic Colors came out that same year. So yeah, you could say that 2010 was a Supersonic renaissance. Oh, nope. There we go. But yeah, now we are contending with water here. But luckily, one thing to keep in mind though, if you do happen to transform into Supersonic down here, he's actually not able to drown anymore. So yeah, a little something he picked up from being able to transform into Hypersonic. Alright, so we just had to move the water over to the side to push out that block. Okay, and we got shades of Hydro City Zone here. You just gotta outrun the wall. Careful. Alright, good, we made it. Now let's go super. Because, hey, we've earned this power and we've only got a limited amount of time to use it, so we're going to abuse it maliciously. So yeah, Supersonic still has his increased jumping height and running speed. And as I mentioned, he no longer drowns, so that's a plus. And on top of that, whenever you transform, any invincibility monitors automatically turn into extra life monitors, so that's a bit of a plus. Okay, I'll break this one open. Alright, so far so good. Okay, this one would be a bit tricky because we do have a set of spikes lined up on the walls there, so you definitely had to kind of maneuver things in order to get that block pushed out while also avoiding the impending threat of drowning, so yeah. But you know what? Luckily, we were supersonic, so that was not an issue we had to contend with. And just like that, we're done with the act. Alright, so with that said, let's go ahead and take on Eggman. On to the boss act. And so yeah, it's just the Eggmobile. And with Lost Labyrinth Zone being a nod to Labyrinth Zone, yeah, Eggman is just going to let the Labyrinth traps do his work for him. But we can get some hits in on him, though. We just gotta make sure we don't drown, but hey, you know what? The good thing is, at least you don't fall into into the very bottom of the chasm, so that's the good thing. Your focus is just getting out of here, avoiding the badniks, and just trying not to drown. But once we get up to the top, Now it's time for his desperation mode. So now we're dealing with the egg labyrinth. So he'll go ahead and box us in here. And he'll make pillars come out from the ground, the ceiling, and the walls. So we gotta be careful so we don't get crushed. Alright, where's it gonna come this time? Ah, damn, I couldn't get a cheap shot in on him. It's alright, though. We got this. Careful. It's possible to get pulled back and end up hitting him, so... Well, end up getting hit by him. That's never fun. But hey, he's down and out. Alright, and with that, another prison capsule destroyed. And with that being said, it's time for the home stretch of the game. Let's see. Green buildings, pipes, steam vents, moving gears. Yeah, we all know what this next zone is going to be a callback to. Well, let's get it over with. Welcome to Mad Gear Zone. Essentially, it's Metropolis Zone on steroids. That's the best way to describe it. And so for the Badix, that means we're dealing with bubbles, as well as Asterons, Shellcrackers, and Slicers. Oh joy. Yep, everything checks out. It's alright, though. We'll be fine. Because just like when we went through Metropolis Zone, we do have the power of the Chaos Emeralds at our disposal, so... We'll be fine. We'll be just fine. Careful. Oh, no you don't. Alright, time to go super. Now I'll just go ahead and take those for the ride. Careful. There we go. Didn't have to go that way, but I wanted to. Oh. Hold it. I want to go this way. Thank you very much. Alright, wait for the piston. There we go. Alright, almost done with the act. Okay, gotta be careful. I don't want to get crushed here. And there we go. Alright. Now it's still time for more mechanical fun. On to Act 2. So luckily, I don't think these gears can kill us by crushing us, so we should be okay on that regard. Careful. There we go. Alright. There we go. Now we'll just go ahead and use the gear to make our way on over to the right. Careful. Alright. Take care of these slicers. Come on. Okay, we should be getting towards the halfway point. Just a little bit more. Alright, let's move on up to here. I'll take that. Gladly. Alright. Okay, yeah, we'll go this way. We go this way. Move the gear down to here. Okay, you know what? I'm not going to risk losing my rings. Screw it. Alright. You can get through that, but good luck trying to pull it off. You've got to be very lucky to be able to do that. Like, your timing has to be straight up precise. Alright, let's come on over to here. There we go. Just a little bit more. Alright, good. This part would be a lot harder if we didn't have Supersonic, but luckily we do, so I'll take it. Alright. But we're not out of the woods just yet, though. Oh, no. We are not out just yet. Because now we got to keep moving as fast as we can here. I'd like to retract my previous statement earlier. This act is Hydro City Zone on steroids. So, yeah. We got the alarms blaring. Oh, well, shit. Okay, well, that happened. So, yeah. We have a giant wall with drills attached to it that'll be following us throughout a majority of the act, so you need to keep your ass moving and just try to avoid anything too deadly. And you also don't want to get crushed by those moving pillars, because once they block you off, you're as good as dead. Well, sucks that I died there, but oh well. Proof of concept. Now you know, and knowing is half the battle. This act does not pull any punches. Alright, careful. Just keep moving. All right, good. All right, wait for the steam vent. There we go. There we go. I was able to make it just in time. Yeah, with the sirens going off, it just really puts that whole impending threat right in the middle of you. I'm sorry, that did not make sense at all, but like, it instills a semi-fear into you that you could easily screw up and you will regret it. Alright, time to use Supersonic for this last stretch. Because it's the last time we can use him for the rest of the game. Let's just keep moving. Almost. And there we go. And we're clear. But we're not done yet. We still got to take on Eggman. So let's just go ahead and grab as many rings as we can get, because we're going to need them. And he's brought back the egg bouncer, although things are a bit different here, so we can still get hits on him pretty easily. Though you can actually pop the clone bubbles yourself, although I would highly advise against it, but if you do, you do. It just means they'll bounce around a bit till they explode. They serve to just get in the way. Careful. Oh, come on. Just let me hit you. Careful. Nope, let's come on over to here. Careful. There we go. Now he's entering his desperation mode. And so now he takes a cue from what he did back in Mushroom Hill Zone, so we've basically just got to catch up with him. He'll go ahead and start throwing the clone bubbles down. There'll be a blue one that'll bounce rapidly. He can drop one that'll be yellow, and it'll be absolutely ginormous, and he can also throw spiked mine bubbles. Oh, damn, that was close. But it's alright, though. We got him. But yeah, you really don't want to get hit in this phase, because, yeah, getting rings back, that shit ain't happening. You may get lucky and may get a few, but yeah, you're going to lose a majority of what you've got, but hey, we've cleared the last full zone of the game, destroyed the final prison capsule, so there's only one thing left to do. And that's take the fight straight to Eggman. And off into space we go. With a little Tails rocket cameo to boot. Alright. Now it's time for the final zone of the game. Welcome to Egg Station Zone. And essentially all this place is just one huge boss rush. So, first things first, the Egg Wrecker. But we gotta be careful because now he'll automatically go straight into his desperation mode. But there we go. Again, that was nothing we couldn't handle. Alright, now for the Egg Claw. And I am not even going to give him a chance. Because why should I? It's easier to dismantle, so a lot easier to get through. Alright, now for the Egg Labyrinth, but we're gonna get an easy cheap shot here and there. Though this time the pillars move a little bit faster. So do be wary of that. Careful. Oh, that's not good. There we go. Never mind. I take that back. Alright, moving on. Now for the Egg Bouncer. Alright, gotta be careful here. Alright, just a little bit more. Ooh, that was close. Alright, that takes care of the core 4 bosses. But Eggman's still got one last trick up his sleeve. He's gone to the scrap heap and brought back the Death Egg robot. Though luckily, it's not nearly as deadly as its original incarnation, though it can still be somewhat problematic. You don't want to be too close to it when it lands because you will get hit by a shockwave and he'll still fire off his fists. And you also want to be very careful when you are attacking the cockpit because he can thrust his arm up as you've seen, so... But again, nothing we can't handle. That, and I believe if you don't cheese in a lot of hits that normally wouldn't register, yeah, this version of the Death Egg robot takes about 30 or so hits, so it's pretty beefy. And now it's entering its desperation mode. So now it's got a field of electricity all around its body, so we can't damage it directly. And on top of that, it's going to start hopping all over the damn place, so that's fun. But now we kind of revert to our old method of dealing with it, at least somewhat. He'll fire one of the fists off. It'll come down. You can either homing attack it or just let it fall. I would say just let it fall and let it be an easy target. And on top of that, he's got a part of the cockpit that'll reveal a giant laser that'll either fire projectiles or just fire off a big laser that rakes across the entire field, so do keep that in mind. So he usually only brings those out when he's close to being taken down. That case in point. He's firing off projectiles. So which means he should start using the laser right about now. Yep, right on cue. Luckily, it's easy to avoid, so... Alright, we're not done yet. Ah, damn, okay, he didn't fire it off this time. He's stalling. He's stalling. There we go. And now he's doing one last chance to get rid of us. He'll slam the ground, so get a hit in on him, because if you don't, you will die. That last hit will make the floor collapse, and you gotta do the whole fight over again. But luckily, we avoided that outcome. But I'm not done yet, though. I can't put the controller down just yet. I got one last thing to try and do. There we go. We get all the rings that are littered throughout Splash Hill Zone, and we get the supersonic ending. If we didn't, we would get the regular basic good Sonic ending. But with that, we are done with Sonic the Hedgehog 4 Episode 1. Again, not many people like the fact that it is called Sonic 4, but hey, you know what? It is what it is. It is what it is. And sure, while it may have its issues, mainly the physics not being one-to-one with the original Genesis games and all that, I still have a blast. I still enjoy the game. I really honestly do. So much so that the version I've got on the Wii, I've got my main file maxed out to 999 lives. So yeah, I've put a lot of time into this game, to say the least. Probably more than anyone really should, but again, honestly, if I'm enjoying a game, to me, that's all that matters. That's really all that matters. But we have only taken down the first game in this duology, so we still have Sonic the Hedgehog 4 Episode 2 to deal with, but that'll be for another time. That'll be for another time. Though we're not entirely done with Episode 1 just yet. We still got a couple small things to quickly go over, which we'll do once we get to the end of the credits. So. But regardless, I have a blast whenever I do play this game. So, like, granted, Episode 2 is definitely more overall somewhat fixed up. They did address some of the concerns, especially considering they did that episode in a completely different game engine. So, yeah, there's definitely a obvious comparison difference between Episode 1 and Episode 2, but it is what it is. It is what it is. That also harkens back to its original intention during development, but we'll get into that here momentarily. But regardless, we did good, and hey, that was about an hour and 20 minutes, so hey, you know what? pretty much right on cue to what I was saying. It takes about maybe an hour to hour and a half to get through episode 1. And more than likely, that'll be the same for episode 2 as well when we get there. So, though honestly, that may not be until next week. So, hey, we'll get there when we get there. But yeah, that was Sonic the Hedgehog 4 episode 1. But we still got a few things, as I said, to take care of. And we do get our reward for getting the absolute good ending. Eggman's chuckling for a very good reason. So yeah, we're gonna be revisiting a old rivalry in episode 2, so that'll be fun. Alright, so with that being said, that is it for the main game. Although now it's time to do a little bit of cleanup. So this part's gonna be fun. I wonder how many attempts this is gonna take for me in order to get this thing to work properly. So we'll see. We'll see. All right. So in order to get this next part taken care of, I need to switch on over into standby mode and get a few things set up. So, this could be very quick to do, or it could give me a bit of a small headache, but I will be back momentarily and we will go ahead and experience something that we can only go through on mobile devices. So, don't go anywhere. We'll be right back. Okay, so luckily I did not have any issues whatsoever getting this thing pulled up. So, hey, I'll go ahead and take it. So, all right, so yeah, we are switching over to my iPad right now because we do have some extra content to quickly go over. So, this harkens back, as I mentioned, to Sonic 4's development. So, originally it was meant to be a mobile game called, excuse me, called Sonic the Portable. It was meant to just be a nice little nod to what made the classic game so good, just something to easily put on a mobile app store and make a few easy bucks and all that. Then it was decided to go ahead and give it the name of Sonic the Hedgehog 4, which again doesn't really set too well with a majority of the fan base, but you know what? Tomato, tomato. That's their choice. For me, I'm fine with it being called that. But anyway, since it was originally meant to be mobile based, it did have a few things to where there would be some zones and acts that would have a few things worked in on mobile devices, which I normally wouldn't translate too well over to consoles, but they made it work anyway. But regardless, so the game originally had a release date of, I want to say, July or August of 2010, but then next thing you know, the entire game got leaked. So Microsoft had a old program that's now defunct. It was called partner.net, where people could try out beta builds of games that would eventually get store releases and eventually also come out mainly on their Xbox store and all that stuff. The game leaked. Footage ended up being posted like crazy. I still remember it to this day. And people just complained about how the game overall looked. There was just a good few things that were definitely rough around the edges, so to speak. So, with that being said, Sega had to do damage control. They pushed the release date back to October of that year, and they reworked a few things. So, the main thing they ended up doing, so one, as you saw, we did have the world map. That originally was not in the game. It was just a basic menu that was kind of stylized around the zones themselves, like just a small image of them in the backgrounds and all that. Some acts were a little bit harder than what they originally, than what they ended up being, so that was a big thing there. But the main thing was there were 2 acts that were removed from the console version of the game, and it had 2 acts made specifically just for consoles, and then those original 2 acts were strictly relegated to mobile only, with that being the second acts of both Casino Street Zone and Lost Labyrinth Zone. So that is what we are going to be exploring here, because again, I like being as thorough as I can. I can't help myself. It's just how I am. It's in my nature. But yeah, technically this would in a way be lost content, because I believe both episodes of Sonic 4 did get delisted last year, although someone did end up getting the original iPad version, no, not the iPad version, the original iPod version running in web browsers. So in a way, that content is basically not lost, so to speak. And if you want to go even further and partake in some dubious means, when the game released on WiiWare over in Japan, they accidentally uploaded the beta version of the game. So that means you had those original Act 2s for those 2 zones in that version of the game. Although they quickly caught wind of that and took that version down and put the actual one up. Though, for those of you that were lucky enough to download that in Japan, good for you. But hey, we still have the... we can still actually access that version of the game, again, through yo-ho-ho means and all that stuff. So, if you want to go ahead and partake in that, that's entirely your choice. Me, I tend to be strictly on the level when it comes to these sorts of things in some cases, because last thing I need is a lawsuit. But everything else I'm going through, that's definitely the last thing I need. So, yeah. But with that being said, we do have extra content to go ahead and partake in. So, let's go ahead and jump right into it, shall we? Seems like a nice way to go ahead and end things off, and hopefully I did get the audio set just right for this. It's not like I'm planning on doing a whole lot of mobile stuff right now, but I mean, for in the future, you know? Alright. So let's go ahead and jump into our save file here. So 2 things we can go ahead and note. So, One thing you can do if you honestly want to, you can play the game on mobile devices just by tilting your device if you really want to. Good luck with that. I would not advise it. But that's also how you would control the special stage as well. And honestly, that was also a way you could control the special stage on the Wii and the PS3 version of the game. You would have the Wiimote's motion controls and of course the PS3's 6-axis. So that option there is there. So mainly you can go and control the stages just by tilting the device and all that. But if that's too much of a hassle for you, you can just go ahead and use your finger to swipe and guide Sonic that way to be able to move the rotating maze special stage, which I'm not going to go ahead and cover here because, yeah, that would just take so many attempts. But anyway, we are going to go gambling once again, so let's move on over to Casino Street Zone. So if anything, the original Act 2 is really tame compared to what Lost Labyrinth Zone Act 2 was originally. So in the console versions, we did have the whole card gimmick. Here, we need to collect 100,000 points, and that's going to be the only way we can get rid of a flipper that is blocking us from getting to the end of the act. So yeah, it's going to be a little bit repetitive, but honestly, if you play your cards just right, you'll get through here no problem. And hey, plus on top of that, this act has its own unique theme, so let's just go ahead and keep on spinning those slots. We're already doing pretty good. Oh, wow, really? Come on, come on. Let me see if I can get up here. No, or, well, maybe not. Okay, yeah, I cannot transform at all, so that sucks. Because I was going to try and show this off. If you end up jumping into a slot machine while you're supersonic, he actually ends up getting jackpots every single time, so yeah, that's the thing they put into the game overall. You can do it on the console version, you can do it here. Come on. Man, it feels really weird just having to look at my iPad instead of just looking at the monitor itself, because I'm so used to just holding a controller and knowing what to do. I mean, I can somewhat make do, but it's just really weird. Alright, and we've hit our quota, so let's get the hell out of here. Alright, so that is it for Casino Street Zone Act 2. Ended up sucking up an ice cube there for a second. And man, did we get a lot of points from that, too. Yeah, I know I could just go ahead and tap the screen and that would just end the tally right there, but hey, you couldn't skip this stuff on the original games. And I'm just skipping here for the nostalgic factor. I'm just crazy sometimes. Alright, now we move on to Lost Labyrinth Zone Act 2. So yeah, remember when I said back in the console version of Act 2 to keep the small sections with the minecart in the back of your head? Yeah, this is why. Because you're in a minecart for the entirety of the act. So originally you could just go ahead and rotate your device in order to move Sonic and the minecart, but I'm just going to go ahead and stick to the swiping controls. And one thing to note, back in the beta build, if you tilted the stage too much, Sonic would be in danger of falling out of the minecart. I don't know if that would have the chance of killing him, but I can't really test it out because that's something they removed here, so... Oh! Careful. There we go. Alright, now let's transform. Yeah, unfortunately, Super Sonic doesn't have his own theme in the mobile version of Episode 1. Because again, since it's somewhat still based on the beta version, that means the invincibility theme is associated with him, so... A little bit jarring, but nah, it's not a game changer. Alright, there we go. Just bopping baddies with a minecart. Would this classify as vehicular badnik homicide? I would say maybe, I don't know. Okay, gotta back it up a bit. Ah, damn. Okay, I got too ahead of myself there. It's alright, though. We're at the end of the act. So yeah, that was a pretty short jog. Well, okay, honestly, wasn't really a jog. More of a, excursion train ride. Even though there was no train involved, just a, crazy minecart, which makes you wonder how Sonic would actually operate this thing in real time. Look at me trying to apply real-world stuff to video games. Ah, I was so close to 100,000. Damn! Ah, well, it is what it is. It is what it is. It is what it is. But hey, with that, now we really are done with everything that Sonic the Hedgehog 4 Episode 1 brings to the table, so... again, it was a nice little small excursion, and again, it was something I just needed to go ahead and get done, so unfortunately, we are not going to be tackling Episode 2 until next week, because we do got a big weekend ahead of us. We do got something coming out later, well, technically it's already out digitally right now, but, I'm not getting my physical copy until sometime tomorrow, so I gotta wait a little bit longer. But you know what? That's no problem. That's no problem at all. But regardless, it was nice to go ahead and do this. So when we go ahead and wrap up episode 2 later on next week, we won't be coming back to Sonic until at least around May, and when we do, that'll be to go ahead and cover Sonic Adventure DX, and then that'll go ahead and set us up to take care of Sonic Adventure 2 battle when we get into June for the 35th anniversary. So, hey, at least I'm trying to work on getting things timed just right. It gives me a bit of a headache sometimes because I'm trying to micromanage almost everything. So, it is what it is. But you know what? That's just how I am. But anyway, with that being said, so is there anyone we could possibly raid? I don't know. Let us take a gander. And yeah, I am not surprised people are already getting to work on playing the Mega Man Star Force Legacy Collection. They are not wasting any time. It's only been 11 minutes and they're already diving in. Although some areas have had it a little bit earlier, but let's see if we can't keep to something Sonic related, hopefully. I don't know. Let's just see. Maybe, maybe not. Really all depends. I'm really not seeing anything that honestly catches my eye right now. But of course, then again, what do you expect? It is a little bit after midnight, so what do you expect? What do you expect? Okay, maybe this can work. Maybe this can work. Alright, let me go ahead and get the rating stuff set up here. Alright, so we got everything set up. So now I'll go ahead and get ready to put a cap on things. So again, it was a pretty short stream. That was the intention, just to go ahead and get some progress made up after a unfortunate mishap earlier today. So at least things turned out a little bit better. That's the good thing we can take away from this. That's the good thing that we can take away from this. But with that being said, for those of you lurking and watching from far, I hope you all enjoy yourselves. And for those that popped in, hope you also enjoy yourselves. Again, even if you're just lurking or if you're wanting to talk, regardless, I'm happy to have you here. I just want to give you all a little bit of enjoyment and maybe get some enjoyment out of seeing me suffer in some areas, although I try to keep that to a minimum. But sometimes people enjoy it. But with that being said, that is going to be it for now. So, until next time, thank you all for watching. I hope you all have been enjoying yourselves so far, and I will see you all again later. Take care.